This is David Randall, Master Lecturer at Boston University School of Management. This is part 2 of the Rudiments of Online Legal Research vidcast, Introduction to LexisNexis Academic. Boston University students can access LexisNexis Academic through the list of the library's databases. From the BU homepage, select Research, Libraries, Databases, A to Z, and then scroll down to L to get LexisNexis Academic. If you are not already signed into the BU network, you will need to enter your Kerberos password, get to the site. And when you do, you will come to the LexisNexis Academic landing page. Let's cover the same search as we did in part 1. Enter Napster. Napster in the search field without changing any options. Click search. The result is almost 1,000 hits, 997. Mostly from newspapers, 9/10 basically from newspapers. There are about 40 hits from law reviews and journals, including a 2001 article from the Boston University Journal of Science and Technology Law titled RIAA versus Napster, Defining Copyright for the 21st Century. Law reviews and journals are excellent secondary sources, quite useful when you are trying to get your arms around a legal topic. You should, if you are doing research like this, use a few of the most recent or most aptly titled or longest to identify the most important legal issues in primary cases. But, going back to our results, what's not included in this results list? The answer is judicial decisions. So, let's click Edit Search to go back to the landing page. This time we'll select Advanced Options and narrow our sources to state and federal cases. Click Apply, click Search. What's the result? Well, the result is about 840 hits. Here they come, 840 hits, which is still way too many. It's every U.S. case that mentions Napster. So let's see what we can do to bring some order to these results. Currently they are organized, they're sorted by relevance. So let's change the sort and let's do oldest to newest. You could see our other choices would be source order, from the different reporting series, which would be from the Supreme Court on down. Newest to oldest, but we want oldest to newest. And the reason we want oldest to newest is because we're trying to track back to the beginning of this line of cases, to the original Napster decision. And so what we're looking for should be someplace near the start of this line. So sorted by oldest to newest, we see the earliest case, May 2000, from Federal District Court, Northern District of California. We scroll down. Here's a decision from the Ninth Circuit Court of Appeals, but no published opinion, so it doesn't sound like we want that. Another Federal District Court decision, another Federal District Court decision. So here's the first in this list. It's the 7th from the beginning, with one odd duck in here. Let's look at this. It's from the U.S. Court of Appeals for the Ninth Circuit and deals with an injunction granted to A&M Records, or in the earlier case. So let's select this because we figure that it's a Ninth Circuit Court of Appeals decision. It's more authoritative, has greater precedential value. So maybe it will take us where we want to go. So let's open this in a new tab. And here's the decision. And you'll notice right away that this version of the case contains much more information than the Google Scholar result. So it contains explanations of the procedural posture and claims, an overview of the case, a brief statement of the outcome. It contains a list of core terms that you could use for further research if you wanted to do so. It contains dozens of headnotes, which are a proprietary service or feature of LexisNexis. Every online reporting service does this in its own way. What they do is read the case, and then they annotate it and create headnotes to help guide your analysis. And you'll see that these are all marked headnote 13, headnote 14. And it just breaks the case down into points of analysis that might be useful to a lawyer researching the case and wants to use it for, in the future, or refer back to it in the future. So we scroll through all of this. You see there are quite a few of them. Next we come to the names of all counsel of record. So these are all of the lawyers who are involved in this case. And look at all these lawyers, imagine how much each one of them is billing, imagine how much this all cost. Finally, we get down to the actual decision. So I will cut to the chase a bit and tell you that this is the case that actually appears in my casebook. It's a somewhat edited version of this, but it contains most of the important stuff. And so you can see right away, this is a much richer resource for further exploration than the Google Scholar version. And one of the most important tools here is using LexisNexis is access to the shepherdizing tool. So we're going to go up here to the right side, upper right window, under Next Steps, and select Shepherdize, and then select Go. And LexisNexis cooks for a bit, and then produces the Shepherds analysis window. Shepherds is a proprietary service that presents the prior and subsequent history of each case and tracks and categorizes each citation of every case by an American court. The Shepherds summary up here, which is, I could hide it, but it's shown now. This summary flags cautionary analyses, tells us that there are 3 of the following cases criticized this decision and 23 distinguished it. So these cautionary analyses refer to subsequent judicial decisions that criticize or distinguish themselves from this decision, the decision that you're researching. And it also classifies the other following opinions, the other cases that cited it, as to whether they concur, follow it, dissent, or just offer some explanatory analysis. It also gives us a number of other sources, law review citations, statutes, treatises, etc., etc. And below that is a detailed citation to Napster's prior and complex, there we go, now it shows, complex subsequent history. So the prior history is those earlier cases that we noted when we looked through the list. And the subsequent appellant history has 27 citing references. So we can see this was a complicated legal history. So this decision, 239 F. 3rd 1004, I will cut to the chase a bit again and tell you that you'll learn this when you read it in the casebook. What this decision did was agree mostly with the trial court's issuance of an injunction against Napster, but it modified the injunction. It said that the trial court erred in a certain way and sent the case back to the trial court for further proceedings to modify the injunction. And then this tracks what happened after that. Injunction was granted, there was a stay, that grant of the injunction was affirmed, and then there's all this other stuff that goes on. We don't need to get into the details of this now. The point here is just to show you what Shepard's is, what it does, and to give you some sense of how it can expand the scope of your research. And note that most cases do not have Napster's robust afterlife, and so your Shepard's results would not be nearly as complicated as this. But just remember, Google may be easier to use because it is more familiar, and it comes back with results that are in a format that you're used to. But LexisNexis searches return much more useful information. So that concludes this video, part 2. The next part of this series, part 3, discusses using LexisNexis for topic searches. So thank you.